All right, everyone. Welcome to this complete cheeseball cop-out episode of Truth Noir, where we're just going to read political memes and talk shit about society. Now, while we are going to have some fun on this episode, I think it's important to kind of look at these things that are floating around on the internet, because memes are actually a pretty important part of social communication.
And people take them seriously.
They do convey,
a lot of powerful messages.
Very concise bits
powerful
of information.
Messages about life and death.
And more stuff than life and
death. Politics and about how you vote.
But yeah, so I'm joined here by Mr. Dirk Beechum. You all know him. Some of you like him.
Not a lot. Most don't.
I am one of these people that like Dirk. Occasionally, he's a small doses kind of person. But for right now, we're getting along okay. So we decided to do this show, because the one thing that we agree on is that for the most part, a lot of these memes that come out, they're not telling spiritual truth or conveying good stuff that's gonna convince people to be better to their neighbor or whatever.
They're not telling you to be a nicer person. They're just telling you to hate more, and that it's cool to hate more.
Yeah, glorifying war.
Oh yeah.
Although I do think that's kind of a funny picture. We got the freedom boner.
I purposely got that one. Not so much that I had a lot to say about it, but just that I knew our audience would enjoy a good picture of some artillery smoke in the shape of
a dong,
of a Johnson.
Yeah.
So that's for our audience. It's for
That is your reward.
I give the reward first, and then we get into the meat where we talk and educate. But this is for all you folks out there who just want to look at a big cloud boner,
Yeah, a freedom boner.
Freedom boner. It's a freedom because nothing says American style freedom better than heavy artillery.
Yeah, blowing shit up.
Just fucking laying waste to some village where some farmer wanted to not grow genetically modified corn. Screw him. What's he doing? Just living off the land. And then he has the audacity to want to put his kids through public education that's paid for by the rich. Oh God, I just want to flip over this table now when I think about that. Get little Juan Valdez back into that coffee field.
Yeah. We're gonna free the shit out of you.
Now get back to work, kid.
Yeah.
Shut the F up and get back to work. And we're gonna free you. Now go to work.
I want to emphasize, Dirk, you're allowed to swear on this show.
I know, but I try not to.
In
case I get on the other show, that there's a place. They'll never let me on that show again. I'm too loud.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So we're getting into this stuff today. Basically, because I let Dirk write the episode, and this is what he came up with. So we'll see how it goes.
And there was nothing written.
So we're moving right along from freedom boner to. Okay, let's. There's a lot of words here, but I think we can do it.
Okay. Well, we're going to compare and contrast what liberals put down on Facebook that said about George Bush Jr. and then what the conservatives say what's wrong with Obama, and we're going to and two very popular memes on Facebook.
Sure.
This is what the liberals put. Should we read this one first?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
All right. Let's see. Let's see. First U.S. president in history to enter office with a criminal record. Yeah, that's right, folks. W had a DUI and a cocaine possession charge on him. And, while I'm not one to throw stones myself, it was just one of those harbingers of bad things to come.
Yeah.
Like maybe don't elect a fucking cokehead to make decisions that affect millions of people.
Spent the U.S. budget surplus on and bankrupt the U.S. Treasury.
Like, you don't let your crackhead neighbor give you financial advice,
No.
do you? Like, you'd be a fucking idiot if you did that.
That's right. Created the largest national deficit in U.S. history. They always like to try to throw around that Obama's not doing good on the thing, but no, he did not set a record. Matter of fact, he's far below a few presidents when it comes to deficits.
There's another one floating around. We don't have it here, but it's about the number of executive orders that various presidents.
Oh
have
yeah, I
issued.
got that one. I posted that one too.
And,
That'll be on our next one.
And I want to be clear here. We're not taking a side politically, specifically. I just wanted to
Just want to
highlight.
be with the facts.
Yeah,
We just want to be with the facts. If you're going to say something,
We wanted to highlight some of the ones that are more patently just completely inaccurate. And one of them was the executive orders that, Obama's ruling like a dictator because he's made so many executive orders, while not also realizing that, like, Eisenhower had over 400 in half the time.
And Bush doubled what Obama has done, Bush Jr., this guy, and then Reagan did another 100 more than Bush Jr. So this whole thing that Obama was the only person to do executive orders is just another typical lie. Let's look at this one. This one is actually, this actually is kind of mild the more I read it. 2 million Americans lost their jobs during his first year. The thing is, then he set because we're going to get to set the record for the most private bankruptcies in any 12-month period in U.S. history. That doesn't even mention that's in his first year, which was in the year 2000, to 2001. By 2007, there was 8 million. There was 8 million lost on that year. So his every year he was in, he was going negative and record-setting numbers. Obama, well, he's always been positive. Very rarely have numbers gone negative. I think they've always been positive about job growth. So this is another thing that that Obama's horrible to the economy. The numbers just aren't there. And the numbers just don't, the math doesn't add up. Bankruptcies, of course, yeah, he did that. Set the record for the most home foreclosures. Oh, yeah, that was another thing. More old ladies are out on the street, more child homelessness. That's one. More 10-year-olds are living on the street than ever before under his presidency.
Well, yeah, and that's when you completely cancel out all of the banking regulations. And
set the record for the biggest percentage drop in the nation's history. So he outdid the Depression. And by the way, I think we're still in the Depression, whether the television tells us that or not.
Yeah. I think the stock market was down to like 8,000 or 7,000 or something like that when he left office.
Oh yeah.
And of course that became Obama's fault.
Yeah. Set the record for the most campaign fundraising trips by a U.S. president. Over the highest gas prices in U.S. history. Oh, that was another thing. That was one of his big campaign promises. He says, when I come in, it's just going to be cheap gas. And it was high as ever was.
Yeah, I remember paying $4.50 for gas at one point.
Oh, yeah. And then, almost $4.80 in some places. Almost went to $5. And here's another one. Appointed more convicted criminals to his administration than any other president in history. Convicted. The word is convicted, not suspected criminals here. Like, people are suspecting, like Obama, they like to call him a criminal, my right-wing friends. or they like to say all the people he hangs out with are, this is convicted. This is what actually, anyway.
Well, yeah, you allow your federal bank to lose $9 trillion,
Yeah.
But no one remembers that because the day after that 9/11 happened, and then all of a sudden no one was talking about it anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not saying the two are connected specifically.
So should we go to the next one?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Let's go to that.
Yeah, like George Bush hasn't been one of my fuck faces of the week,
Yeah.
because I just think he's too dumb to have actually masterminded any of this stuff himself.
I saw a movie one time called W, and it was
Josh Brolin's.
and it actually depicted him as a buffoon, and that he was actually taken advantage of by Condi Rice and Dick Cheney. And it would show that when he was walking in a room, they'd be telling jokes about him, and as he left the room, they would start to tell jokes about him. And it would always be they wouldn't be cool about it, where they would wait till he got all out of the room and the door closed. They would kind of do it like, yeah, the fucking idiot. As he's walking away, he'd do this. Like, hear it. Like, they would say it under his breath just so that he would hear a little bit of like that. That's how much lack of respect they had. And so I feel the real leader was Dick Cheney. That was what really ran our country for 8 years, was Dick Cheney.
Yeah, well, and now there's a statue of him up in Washington, D.C.
Oh, what a slap in the face.
Yeah, it lets you know that, like, they don't put statues of good people up.
No,
If you get a statue, it means you probably did a really good job at fucking a lot of people over. So,
this whole thing with like El Chapo, and I kept thinking in the back of my mind, they're going, the DEA goes, well, he was a horrible guy. Why did Sean Penn give him an interview? And I go, well, first of all, he wasn't nice to this guy. He just gave him his piece so he could say what he wanted to say, which anybody has a right to say. And second of all, by the way, if we want to talk about who dealt the most drugs and killed the most people, well, our two vice presidents, Dick Cheney and George Bush Sr., did that. They dealt far more drugs than El Chapo, and they tortured and killed, not just shot like with a bullet right in the heart where the guy goes, ah, and then died instantly. I mean, they would like torture people horribly.
right.
To where, and far greater numbers.
In such a way that it was like a direct violation of many like Geneva Convention protocols.
Not just even Geneva Conventions, but Dick Cheney specifically violated. There's the Army. There's an official interrogation manual on how you interrogate, and he broke that. And by the way, the military.
Let's clarify. He allowed people to break it. I doubt Dick Cheney.
No, he wasn't there,
anyone.
but he ordered.
Right.
It's my contention, and they were talking about this in Air America before they stopped it, where they actually interviewed FBI people. There's enough evidence to convict him, but they decided not to go ahead because he has enough power to stop that kind of thing.
Right.
But it wasn't because there wasn't enough evidence. He ordered. The orders they found came straight down from Rumsfeld to Dick Cheney, all the way down to Guantanamo Bay. What went on there not only was it just them doing things on their own, it also was not that it was not clear who gave them orders. It was clear because whenever you grabbed one of these guys, because a lot of prosecutors were so hot on stopping this horrible thing that went on down there, they kept going to different commanders. And they kept saying, we're going to throw you in Leavenworth for 20 years to life for what you did. And every person from the guard on up to the commandant of that prison said, I have orders. And that's how they got out of not going to Leavenworth. They just said, dude, I'm following orders. And if I didn't follow orders, I would go to Leavenworth. So that's how they got out of it. They got out of it in a legitimate way. I'll give them some credit. And I mean, they're still nasty, nasty people, but they had that thing,
Right.
and they went and they so every person they went after, right? Who's the next guy? Who's the general? And every general said got out of being either fired or going to Leavenworth, because the higher you go up in rank, you just quit and you go off and retire somewhere. should do time, and eventually went right up to the Dick Cheney. So that's how, and then but they couldn't actually get him because he was too powerful. But that's how all the underlings didn't get it, was because they all actually had an order, some kind of documentation that showed, hey, I was told to specifically bend this guy in this position.
Right.
and literally it would be that specific. The people I want to get is, I'll bring their names up on the next show, or I'll give them to you and you can bring them up with your next case. There's these two top psychologists that were paid like $20 million each to actually write out specifically how you bent people. Because they would do that first. They would do that weird, like, putting them in stress positions and would, like, you know, handcuff your hands to the ground and bend your, and then you would start back spasming, and they'd come back after like 12 hours. And a lot of guys, I don't know if you ever saw pictures of them, but they had all the hair torn out. Well, sometimes they would be in such a position they could get their hand here, and they would just start yanking. It was horrible. Anyway. Well, these psychologists, my whole contention is, if these psychologists wrote this and it was wrong, one, they should lose their license. And I'm not talking about anything big. Like, sure, it would be big to put Cheney in jail.
Yeah, because that's like unethical.
But why can't they lose their license, and why can't we get our money back at interest rate? If I didn't pay the IRS on time, I would not only have to pay them back, but I would pay them back with an interest. I don't think, and out there, I don't know how we could get this going, a grassroots movement. Why can't we at least go after these guys? Even not get them in prison, but have them give back all the money, plus interest, plus they lose their license. It has been brought up before. I think I forwarded stuff to you about how the AMA did bring up that fact that how these people, and there was, I guess, apparently they had a staff. It wasn't just these two men. They were just the ringleaders of a staff of psychologists who came up with this idea of how you would torture somebody. And everything specifically, by the way, I want to bring it back to the fact is that that's against the Army or the military manual on how you interrogate somebody. So we're not talking about Geneva Convention or some kind of pie in the sky stuff. We're talking about an organization that doesn't mind bombing children in little grass huts. And even it wrote a manual that says when you get information from somebody, the best way to do it is these tried and true best practices. And this will be the law, because you're actually interfering with the law. If we have a suspect and you're not handling the suspect right, well, we can't maximize information. Right. So all this big torture orgy that was going on down in Guantanamo not only didn't give us information,
probably numerous other places as well.
Oh yeah,
Probably, allegedly.
Uzbekistan and all those other toilets around the world.
So
anyway, let's go to this picture. This is a cute one. This is cute, and I love the caption: "Teaching firearm safety in classroom." Oh, I don't know if the other part of the picture came up. Anyway, it said something about. So you're missing the best part of the caption. It said, what did it say? Back when we knew. Oh Christ! It said back when we knew the right way to teach kids in a classroom. Yeah, except we, of course, except for the fact that we were also teaching that young man how to refer to people of color by different profanity. But other than that, though,
it's one of those things.
Or to tell, or to grow up in.
I think that the educational system was better back then, for sure. And yeah, I mean, it had its grimy spots too. Of,
I do believe, though, in teaching gun safety, though, and I think it is a good thing to train.
Well, yeah, there were a hell of a lot less mass shootings at the time, and you know what? I don't think all the ones that are going on now are because of Muslims specifically.
No.
Because there are mass shootings.
There's a lot of Timothy McVeigh's.
And there's even mass shootings, carried out by, the police.
Yeah.
Certain among them.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of shooting going on. All right, let's go to the next one.
What do we got here?
Oh, last year, handguns killed 48 people in Japan, 8 people in Great Britain, 34 in Switzerland, 52 in Canada, 58 in Israel, 21 in Sweden, and 42 in West Germany, but 10,728 in the United States. God bless America.
Yeah, you know, and of that 10,000, probably over 1,300 that year were by police officers.
Yeah, these handguns have nothing to do with what law enforcement did. This 10,000 does not include any people who were killed by law enforcement.
Yeah.
So that number is it's at least double or triple that. I'd say triple that.
Yeah, I mean, and there's...
So you have we have like a really high death rate for a country that's not at its civil war right now.
No.
but it is so easy
maybe
for you
soon,
and me to
maybe in a
walk a
couple
couple
years.
blocks, and if we get shot, people be like, that's how it would be. I mean, they'd be sad, but they wouldn't be surprised. If you and me went to go get our tacos like we usually do on site, and we got shot,
I want to be careful about putting shit like that out there to the universe.
No. But I'm just saying that it'd be sad. People would be, all our friends would be sad. Anybody who even just kind of knew us a little bit, they would be sad.
I'd be a little
But nobody would
bummed
be
out,
like, oh my goodness, that's never happened. Or, it'd be like, well, shit happens.
Yeah, so
that happens a lot.
So to put it in perspective, that's like 200 per state. I would imagine probably most of them in the South, though.
The Southern man is a special man. He's like Special Olympics special.
So to anyone watching in the southern states, I apologize for ramblings
I'm sorry.
Of Dirk. He does not specifically represent the views and
Yeah,
moral. He
I'm
kind
sorry
of
about
does.
that.
I'm sorry. I don't give a shit.
All right,
All right. What
one?
else? What else do we have?
You see a trigger. I see an on switch for freedom.
That
one's just
it's a
cute.
lot of these.
Yeah,
that
a
I
lot
see
of
that,
these. Like they're synonymous. Like synonymous.
Yeah, there's so it's not. I don't know. I think like maybe voting for the things you
Would
want
be an
to
on
happen in
switch.
your
I think
country,
would be
like,
an on switch for
that.
freedom.
That would be better than letting things get to the point where an all-out revolution is necessary.
If part of a conflict resolution is I have to pull the trigger on a gun, I don't know if I'm not in that lofty democratic place right now. I'm in like survivalist mode, and it's ugly and it's gritty, and I'd rather be in that lofty mode where,
Yeah.
I posted one time on Facebook right after I saw this, and I said, it was an old joke, and I retold it. America's kind of like a strip club, and the more you don't fight for and support the First Amendment or the Fourth Amendment or the Fifth Amendment, but you only support the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment is like the bouncers, and the First Amendment's like the strippers. And when you get rid of all the other amendments and you only have the Second Amendment, it's like having a strip club with only bouncers. You wouldn't want to go to that strip club.
No, man.
And you don't want to live in a country that only has Second Amendment.
Sounds like it'd be kind of.
You need all of them. They're all important.
So what you're alleging is that everyone who is a Second Amendment disciple actually just really deep down wants to be part of a sausage fest. Am I understanding you right?
No.
Okay.
I think just, maybe you.
Well, no, I'm not.
I'm
not that into
kidding.
guns.
No, what I am saying though, that everybody who puts up memes, not everybody who supports them, not everyone who supports these memes, but people who put up these memes, I do believe they're trying to put fear in the working class and take us away from what the real crimes are, like corporate crime and stuff. So I think that your average, because there's always, whenever you read more from sites like these, there's always a backhanded comment against the First Amendment. Like, well, why did the Muslim have to have a right to go to church? Why does the Mexican have a right to go see a doctor? Why does his kids have a right to go to a school?
Yeah, it's
why are
encouraging people
those
to
damn
be
black? And talking to
discriminatory.
cops, why are the black people so hard on the cops all the time? Can't they just fucking work with them? maybe they wouldn't keep getting shot all the time. You know, you get a lot of that backhanded subtlety from the sites that always talk about the Second Amendment. So they are, in effect, against the First Amendment, and the Fourth Amendment, and the Fifth Amendment.
Right.
You know, so
Yeah, because if it weren't for people getting shot because they were saying, no, you don't have a warrant, you're not allowed to search my house or my vehicle or my person.
well, those are amendments too, by the way.
Right, yeah.
Those are amendments. Those aren't just that good ideas.
Yeah,
they're freaking on the amendment thing.
They're the Fourth and Fifth specifically.
Yeah. So,
Well, but you know, if you just let them, eventually you're gonna have to like submit to a cavity search pretty soon, and people are gonna be saying, well, if you just let the officer put his hand in your ass, you wouldn't have gotten beat to death now. You don't believe in freedom?
yeah.
And so, we'll give that one a few years.
Yeah. So all the amendments have to work together. Or
What
they don't
else we
mean
got
anything.
going on? More Obama bashing.
Yeah, something about that awkward moment when the biggest arms dealer in the history calls for stricter gun control in your own country.
Yeah, so this is a
Boy, so
picture
this
of
is one of these-
Obama with, it looks like maybe members of the Saudi royal family.
Yeah. And he authorized a $60 billion arms sale. But the thing was at the bottom, while he does arms sales with the Saudis, he wants stricter gun control in our country. It's kind of just, it's another inaccurate portrayal. And by the way, here's another thing. Coming about arms deal, I mean, who's the biggest arms dealer to the Saudis that has ever been in our history was Ronald Reagan, for which they now call him Saint Reagan. It's funny, the liberals coined it, and now the conservatives are kind of using it.
Oh, kind of like Yankee Doodle, like the
Yeah.
Brits started calling us Yanks, and then we started calling ourselves that.
Not really realizing it was a put down.
Yeah.
Kind of like how liberals first started calling Tea Party or people teabaggers,
Yeah.
and now they call themselves teabaggers because they're not smart enough to realize it.
Yeah, that it's a euphemism for
Your sack.
your buddy dipping his nuts on your face when you're too passed
Yeah,
out
taking
to
a
know
photo.
any better. Yeah.
Where you get nuts on your forehead. You're like, why does my forehead smell? All right, let's go to the next one.
All right.
We're
Let's see.
covering
Oh,
ground.
yeah, there's a lot of these too.
Oh,
like
Facebook had the nerve to remove
these.
You want to read that?
Yeah, sure. It's a picture of a kid saluting a flag, against the blue cloudy sky, and it's and it's supposed to make you feel proud and it's America. Facebook had the nerve to remove the beloved photo. Little Timmy salutes the flag below because non-Americans find it hateful. Let's all like and share to show there's nothing hateful about America.
First of all, there's so many things that are wrong about this picture.
Oh, yeah, it's fucking idiotic.
The picture itself is wonderful, but the caption above it is to me, first of all, starts with lies. Nobody ever told anybody to remove a picture of a child saluting a flag. He's not waving a gun. No liberal or conservative would be against it. There's nobody that would be against a child. So this whole lie that there's a group, Norm, and they're out there and they wanted us to take this down, and it was little Timmy, which, by the way, is the euphemism for all little kids since it was Christmas
Right,
stories and
since,
Dickens' time.
Yeah, and since Lassie also wasn't.
So, and then another lie. Where were we at? Because non-Americans find it hateful. I don't know who these non-Americans are, but I bet you they're Mexicans that are coming over the border illegally and Arabs.
And selling drugs and raping people.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, oh yeah.
Well, and we were
Gotta do
talking
it. And
about this
bombing.
on a previous episode, and it was the war on Christmas at the time that we were talking about, where
I love that
we
word.
were saying, oh, there's always some anonymous group that complained
that
about the
that-
nativity
I
scene.
never heard it
because-
before, by the way. It's always like the United Front for Atheism or some group you never heard of before.
Yeah, and that no one gives a shit about.
But every
anyways.
churchgoer believes that it exists.
Yeah, so stop posting ridiculous shit, people. I mean, I know
And by the way, nobody hates this picture, so don't let somebody get you charged up going, God, what? I can't go to bed at night knowing there's this. You can go.
I guess I can get a vote for Jeb Bush now, so
Yeah, because I want little Tim. Yeah, I want more pictures of little Timmy.
I want more pictures of cats, personally.
Of course, of course.
Oh, and this is great. If war came to American soil, would you fight? Like and share if you would. Like, yeah, fucking idiot. Like, if there was an army walking down my street, shooting up the place, I would, I'd try to stop them from doing so. Just like people in other countries do when we invade them.
There we go. There we go. So when we invade other countries, they're going to go and fight. So,
but that's terrorism.
Yeah,
These guys are terrorists.
They shouldn't be like that. How dare them?
We need to free the shit out of them with our freedom boner.
And by the way, this makes people who are conservative we got to go bomb more people. And it's like, wait a minute. This is like a nonsensical saying. If war came to American soil, well, we look at it logically. Yeah, if it came to this, even if I'm anti-war, if it came to the soil, I'm going to pick up a gun and start shooting.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, like you said, when you start analyzing, it's like,
well, Dirk, I think your weapon would be much more sinister.
Yeah, a weapon of love.
Yeah, you would slather yourself up in the Vaseline and just run right towards them with open arms.
Oh, and I would just stick my bald head down, and I would do my penetrating shot. Yeah, and you'd see me like just two legs sticking out of a guy's rear end.
You'd just dive right in.
Oh yeah. Did you ever see that American Dad episode where they showed Roger did that?
Yeah.
And he's laying on the hospital bed with the shirt off. Stan is, and you can see the imprint of Roger, and there goes, "You better get me out soon, because I'm liking it. I'm liking it." And my poor son, my young son, he didn't get that, and he goes, "Well,
Dirk, you're a bad parent for letting your fifth grader watch that."
And he goes, why did Stan eat Roger? And I was like, I don't know.
Here, let's.
He didn't realize. Yeah, we better move on.
Let's move along.
I love this one. I love this one. The police should be here any minute. Until then, let's talk about Jesus. Oh, that's a double winner. It's a double winner right there.
Yeah, that's if apparently if Grandma catches you trying to break into her house, she's gonna handle business before the cops get there.
Yeah,
and she should, because the police would probably get there and just shoot up the entire place, including her.
Yeah, so it's good. She's an independent, strong, elderly woman. She's got her guns. Of course, it's a pro-gun control or anti-gun control poster. But I love the thing about Jesus, because they also like to throw the J-man in to verify.
Yeah, because Jesus would be all about
shooting pro-gun.
Yeah,
Jesus is into guns.
Up whoever you thought might be a threat.
I've learned from my right-wing friends, Jesus loves guns. Just loves them.
Well, yeah, because Jesus was all about...
And he hates people who don't...
Yeah, because Jesus was all about hate, too.
Oh, I didn't put this one poster in, or it might be in, but we'll put it in next time. You're going to love it. It's called Republican Jesus, but we'll get to that another time.
Let's look at this one. This is one of the more abstract ones I've seen.
Yeah, this is the one where it's trying to use that convoluted logic to connect one thing to gun control. How it's wrong.
Let's see. Because pipe bombs were used, we need to take drastic steps and outlaw all plumbing, because pipes have to be used responsibly, and the mental stability of people need to be looked at before they can purchase pipes, right? This is fucking dumb.
I actually don't want somebody who's not mentally stable working on my plumbing. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, but you can't do anything about it because we live in a free country now. The thing is, you have to be licensed to be a plumber. Like, you have to be a
yeah, it's harder to become a plumber than a gun owner.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you can actually be a mentally unstable person and purchase a weapon. Tell you what, Dirk, I like these, man, and I want to do some more of them with you, but we're out of time.
Oh, is it out of time already? Look at that.
So
okay.
We'll be back again soon in the future with more dumb shit that people post on the internet.
Memes.
Yeah, and try to pass off as wisdom.
As educational and wisdom. Yeah, I like that.
So I want to thank Dirk Beechum, this
Sure.
guy over here, for coming on and helping me, make fun of the big dumb animals that we call our political fanatics.
As little Timmy says, God bless America.
Yeah, make sure
God bless.
Timmy doesn't get banned from Facebook anymore. You got to vote Republican now.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. That's all the time we have for today. Thanks for watching. See you again soon. And in the meantime, wherever you're going, get there safe.